Hello you lovely people, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Marshmallows, hot chocolate, a wee hung moment. I'm so grateful for you to joining me today, and if you've joined me throughout the Hot Hook collab, thank you to Karen and Stacy for inviting me to join in. And thank you to everyone who has liked and commented, and a special welcome to those of you who have newly subscribed. Thank you so much to you as well. If you haven't already got the kit, it is still available at 30% off. Automatically, you don't need a code or anything until the end of the month. So you still, this is being aired on the 30th of October 2024, so you still have today and tomorrow. If you haven't yet liked and commented and wish to enter the draw, then the list of collaborators is below. And please go along. You've got to comment on each of their 4 videos of the making. That's the pages, the ephemera, the covers and the binding. So there's 8 collaborators, each have 4 videos. You've got to and then you get an entry into the draw. If you've done your own journal, then please share that on Stacy and Karen's Facebook pages and you'll get another entry draw. All the details are down below. Everything you'll need is down below. But today isn't an official video, but I have finished my journal, and so this is a flip through. But this flip through is different from a lot of flip throughs you'll find on YouTube. This is a finished journal, not a finished making the journal, but a finished journal. Oh dear, and I've done that just to give people, I often hear people saying, yes, but what do you do with the journals once you've made them? Well, this will give you a couple of ideas of what you might want to do with your journals. You don't have to do this, but it's just this is what you might want to do with them. So this journal is totally finished. When I have done the flip through, it will go up on the shelf. It is done. That doesn't mean to say it'll never be looked at again, because it will be, and it actually might be looked at more than ordinary journals would. I just got to get those marshmallows eaten before they totally melt, just because, well, it'll become more obvious in a second. So here it is. Just going to leave it like that for a second. You can see that it's ended up being almost exactly the right thickness. That doesn't often happen. Sometimes you end up with a gator mouse, but I'm really liking the fact that it's nice and it's going to stand nice on a shelf. You saw me make the cover, or this cover was made in one of the other videos, which I'll link down below. I did some Friday videos and I'll link them down below in case you missed them, and that was when I did this hard cover. This is a wee dangle here, and on this wee dangle we have the leaf charm, which and a hair. The leaf charm which I used my foundry wax on, and this little marshmallow charm which started off as a beer mug. And again, this was one of the wee extra videos I did, so I'll link them down below if you're interested to see how I changed a beer mug into a hot chocolate, and the leaf that was silver into bronze. And this is one of the pine cones I used to decorate my turmeric pages. and then I just put some beads that I felt kind of went in with the theme. And what I did was I started at the bottom here. I drilled a little hole through here and then put a double, this is just sewing thread, but it's really good quality sewing thread. It's this stuff, variegated, and I did a double layer through that hole, then took it through this cover, round the back through this cover, and then back down these four beads, and then we've got these two charms hanging from two of the threads, and the other threads I took all the way down to the bottom. And I've left it so it's hanging like this, so that when I open it I can move it out the way. Shall we do that now? So let's dive in. Now this video is going to be longer than a normal flip through because I've got lots of things to tell you and show you. So you might want to put it on double speed if you just want to see the journal. This is Melfit the snail. You saw me put the snail trail in, and the snail has ended up being called Melfit. And one of the things that this journal, as I said, was doing is giving you ways that you could maybe use your journal. And one of the ways you can do it is you can tell stories in it. And so this is Melfit the snail is off on an adventure, and this is one of the, we showed you how to do that on Covers Week. In this wee pocket we have a photograph on a bit of card, like a bookmark, and that can be a journaling spot. And then, because I made this into a double pocket, it's a lovely napkin. It's got some glacial paste on it. You saw us make this, and I've made this into a little of the meal we had on the way to our holidays, because this is all about the holiday that I mentioned right at the very beginning of this journal when I was talking about what hug meant to me. We were on holiday last week, and I just took the journal along and filled it up with all the memories, all these photographs. These are these photographs that you can, it's a sprocket, print them straight off. They're on sticky paper. Some are just on being put into these corners, photo corners I made out of the medallions, the sheet of medallions in Ephemera Week, cut them in half, made these photo corners. This is a little limpet ring that I picked up on a beach that you'll see more of later. I'm going to have to try and not talk too much. This is the second take of this. The first one, you saw us make this, and I've added photos. Do you remember the Polaroids in the old days that used to come out with this? Apparently they're back in fashion again. And I just thought that that was a nice way to make journaling cards, those photographs into journaling cards. This is a river. This is the cottage we stayed at. This is a view that I see when I'm sitting on the chair that I normally sit on. There's a fire, love the fire. This is the journey to the cottage. We went past some locks. When we're on holiday, we do crosswords. And this is just 3 of them in a wee triple pocket. She travelled through the leaf litter, stopping to munch every now and then. This is Melfit the snail having a munch on some leaf litter. This is a little flip out with some journaling space. Some of the journaling space I've written on, some I haven't. Some more leaves. The sun and the leaves is just glorious. Melfit Village is the name of the place we stayed and where she gets her name from. This was my husband having some soup outside when we went. Well, yes, because that's further along. Oh yes, right, okay, we'll come to that in a bit. Let's ignore this because I've put in this twice by mistake. These are some pictures of the various berries: brambles, snowberries and rowan berries. Oh, and that flips out as well, because in the back here we have some, oh, that looks like it's some more rowan berries. There was lots of rowan berries this year. What's going on down there? Melfit the snail wondered. So off she went down the path, along the loch, past the old church and the yachts and the cows, to the old ferry pier. "Who's that?" Melfort asked herself. Now, is she asking who's that about him eating his lunch at the old pier, or about this fella? Now, if you saw my video last week in the bindings, you'd have seen this fella across the room. This is Kirstin the Puffin, and here he is practicing flying because we sat him on the top. My husband treats this it's a doorstop, treats it as if it was a pet or a child, and it gets taken on holiday with us. It came from a holiday in Orkney, and we stayed at a place called Hurston, so that's why his name's Hurston. That's why Melfort's called Melfort. The snail's called Melfort because Melfort came into being on holiday in Melfort. And he takes, and it's become a kind of running joke in the family and his friends and stuff, that he takes them on holiday, takes a picture, posts the picture, and everybody can say, "Oh, look what Hurston's doing now." So Hurston was sitting on this rock looking at the old pier and the lock behind, and it was windy and he just started flapping his wings. So that's Hurston flying. The other thing my husband likes to do when he's on holiday is whittle, and here he is making something that you shall see later on. That's just a wee cluster up there, lots of mushrooms. We went to a place, you'll see more of this later on as well. This is a hidden paper clip made with some tweed. I've used quite a few bits of offcuts of tweed I found. And this is a stamp. This is meant for children, embossing thing at a museum. And I thought, I'm a child. That'll be great for the old journal. So there's 4 of them in total. That is talking about the ancient woodlands. We've got more cluster down here. Melfort the snail, move nearer. "Hello," she shouted, but no one heard her. It was very windy. And this is a map of where the old pier is. And that's a photograph turned into a journaling card, just sticking some paper because I said it's a sticker. So I just stuck some paper on the back of it. That's part of the binding that we tore off last week. They left. She followed us back to the cottage. And this was what I was saying about that evening. I made backgrounds. This is one of them, with tinted charcoal, and then I had to dry it by the fire, which was a wood fire, which amused me that I was drying charcoal in front of using wood, which would make the charcoal, and I was drying it. Yeah, okay. Another mushroom. Dark. Melfort the snail followed them to a cottage. "I shall wait here," she thought, too shy to go into the door. As it got dark, she moved closer and peered in. So there she is, peering in at the fire. Melfort curled up in her shell and waited for what might happen. So there she is, curled up. And this was another wee pocket I made. This is a little, it's the mushroom papers. Stamped some leaves on the back, a little bit of mushroom, that was from the tickets. Just made a little kind of notepad. That's some of the washi tape. Made it into this little envelope. And there's a little slider, another wee tuck spot. Some of the colours of leaves that were around. Some wee mushrooms up there. There's another pocket and a wee tag. This is a map of Melfort itself. So this is one of the ideas, that you can actually make them into travel journals or holiday journals or photo albums. They don't need to be something that you're constantly, that needs to have writing in it. This is that wee journaling card in that envelope. This is the back page, and I used this as another cover. I used it to flip out. And this is just a bit belly band with a bit of the same ribbon that I used here, just for that bit of information on the area that we were in. And these were just words. So this is the kind of thing you can do, especially if you've got children. Just have a page and say, right, tell me words about what happened today. And I did this with my husband, and we had a storm on the first night which brought seaweed up onto the road, so we went out the following day. There was seaweed all over the road. it's a home from home because I've been going there for 30 years. Love the fire. We don't have a real fire in our house, so it's lovely. It does make us just go and relax. Inverary was where we had our lunch on the way up. There was a landslide last year that blocked the road and we couldn't go along the road. We had to go all the way around the long way. This time the road's open, but you can still see the damage. About half a mountain came down, shut the road for months and months. But they're still trying to sort all that out. So the road's open now, and Gardener's Cottage is the name of the cottage, actual cottage we stayed. A little bit of decoration on the back page. This again came from one of the pages, or was it a cover? One or the other. Freebie anyway, cut out of a freebie. This is the second signature, and the second signature is all about this place called Kilmartin Glen, where I bought some Kilmartin gin, and that's a receipt, because that's the other thing you can put in there, receipt for the museum that we went to. This museum, actually, this has one of the stamps I stamped over the top of the museum, but I can see it, but you probably can't. I'm sorry, the sun's coming. Next door is getting work done, so I couldn't do anything until the men stopped making the noise they were making, and now the sun's coming in. Melfort the snail woke up and she realised she was all alone again. They had headed off, she followed. When she'd peeked in the previous night, she'd heard them mention Kilmartin Glen, so she's off to find Kilmartin Glen. It's a pocket, and here's another one. This image of the bow was carved into a rock at the fortress at Dunnard. Dunnard is an alluvial rock that's been left in a glacial plain, so it's just a massive rock. I mean, it takes you a good half an hour to clamber up it, but at the top of it there's some carvings, including this one of a boar. It's where the ancient kings of Scotland were crowned, long before Perth and the Stone of Scone and all that. Arriving at the glen, she followed the river. As soon as you get down to the glen, there's this river, past the castle. And this has an acorn that we picked up in the glen, and there's a little brass leaf. This is a map of Kilmartin Glen, and on the other side this is the menu of the pub we had our lunch in that day. So that's the kind of thing the kind of stuff that some people nowadays put on Facebook. Put it in your journal, you'll see it then. Eek a bird, I'll wait here while they're in that building, and that building was Kilmartin Museum. And in Kilmartin Museum there was a bit about Orgam alphabet. This is Melfort in Orgam. Orgam's different from runes. In the museum also we saw this beautiful, this is an absolute glorious jet necklace. This is another of the stamps, and you can see how it's got some of the engraving on it here. It's just incredible. This was found in one of the graves, and they think it's probably about 3000 BC. Incredible when you think about it. Absolutely incredible. I mean, that could sell today. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's really stunning to see it. I also learned how to do some hand spinning. They had some fleece and then you spun it. It got very complicated and it all started unraveling, but there's a bit there, and I also tied these bits on here with a bit as well. This is another bit from one of the journal pages. Actually, I think that's from a cover, and that's what you can do. You can cut it apart and use it. You don't need to use those freebies just as they were. This was actually a postcard, and I decided to cut it out and make it a little tuck spot. So off she set again, and out of the museum and down into the glen, and this is going back in time from 2024 to 9000 BC. And in this little foxy pocket we have some of the dates of the various things and what their ages were, and I just thought I'd make that wee card so I knew if I needed to go back and refer to it I could. There was so much to explore. Melfort also almost forgot, and then she saw him. So this is what's happened. Where is he? I thought he was on that page, and he isn't. Oh, we'll be doing the exploring first. Or have we turned over too many pages? Where's he gone? He's on a page here somewhere. Oh, he's on. Well, that's most bizarre. We'll find him eventually. He's on a page here somewhere. Right, okay. So we went down to Temple Wood is where there's a stone circle. This stone circle's older than things like Stonehenge. Way older. I mean, and there's standing stones. Oh, there he's there. The standing stones are there as well. There's another one of the ring, which is a bit closer, and you can see the cyst in the middle. The cyst wasn't a grave like we think graves. What they used to do is they used to put in the cyst, they would put the bones after a body had been in a cairn for a while and had decomposed. They would then take those bones out and they'd put them in a cyst. This is an engraving that's on one of these stones. I think another of these stamps from the thing, and this is, there's Kirstin up the tree having a look. This is a hazel tree, which is part of the ancient woodland. Obviously not this tree, but the hazel trees have said to be there since ancient times. This is a chambered cairn. So this is where bodies would be put until they decomposed, and then they'd come out and they'd be put in that. This is standing stones. Now these standing stones go in a line all the way up Scotland and all the way down south, and these are stones which were marked. This is bedrock where they marked, these are what they call cut marks, and then the spiral marks here as well. So that's one set of them, and this set is really quite old. The other set is a bit more recent that you're going to see photographs of. And this was me using bramble ink to kind of just do a homage on this bit of rice paper to these. This is, oh, this hasn't got its bits in. Right, there's an envelope there and a tuck in the side, and the bits are downstairs. It's just more photographs. Melfort the snail followed Kirstin the puffin back in time, and all over Carmarthen Glen she saw stone circles, and she followed in the step of the ancestors. Another journaling card, again made from one of, with some old ledger page in the back. One of the covers, and this is a pocket we made together, and this is where some of the other, this is a bit further down where some of the other carving is. This, as you can see, it's bedrock. These are my photographs of that. This is more of the bramble ink with some stone circles marked in them, and then just made into this little kind of banner idea tucked in there. After such a long day, Melfort the snail searched for a pile of leaves to sleep, and this is back in the cottage, a wee cluster here, and me doing some journaling with some, there's the acorn, the leaves you'll see in a bit, there's the fire, and that page is, well, it doesn't matter, it's one of the pages in the journal. And there's a pile of leaves, and then cut that particular photograph into a leaf, and the slime chow goes into there because that's where she's. On that park, the rock art was at sea level. This rock art here, oops, not this one, because that's in a farmer's field. This one here was at sea level when it was made. It's now at 434 feet above sea level. So that's the view, kind of, the rock art's here. There's the view, and that's down actually at the lock, which is sea lock, so it's counted as sea level. So that's the end of that one, and this is done with some chalk mousse, and it's just, I suddenly thought, well, that would be great because it's like ley lines, and it just gives a wee bit of background on that. The final signature is, so that's the kind of ancient signature. The final signature covers the last couple of days of our holiday, but it starts with this, which is an ode to Susie. We love her so, despite the way she sneaks right in both night and day, whispering loud and clear in mind and ear, listen to me. Leave that alone, come here and play. There's ink and stamps, tools, glue and spray. Now do this, then next that, a dab, a splat, be wild and free. Tick-tock, tick-tock, the time goes by. Susie the squirrel makes it fly. Her fun ideas swoop. With joy we whoop. Ta-da! Look, see. Susie's accompanied us throughout this collaboration, and so I really felt I needed to do a wee ode to her. This is another bit of bramble ink, just dyed on this bit of ribbon that was already stamped with the tree. Off again this time, where this time Melfit the snail's asking, and this time off into the dark forest. You can see this is an old Forestry Commission forest, and these trees are getting near harvesting, and so it's very dark, but it's also very beautiful. This was what my husband was carving, and it's not quite finished. That was a picture that was taken before we left. He didn't quite finish it. It's still going to do some more work on it and sort of make it look more like a rowboat with planks and stuff in it. More mushrooms, lots of mushrooms, lots of mushrooms. This is a wee journaling card made. You get these shafts of light where obviously a tree's fallen and the shafts of light come down into the forest. And there's also some native trees as well, more oak trees there. This is a little, just with some scraps of paper and a bit of, I think that was a cover as well. More mushrooms, different mushrooms again. A lovely bit of lichen. I love the way these lichens and ferns and things, mosses all hang from the trees at this time of year, almost like Christmas decorations. A journaling card made from another bit, another cover page that was. Oops. Oh, now this is going to have this in, but it's still drying, and I'll use my fuse to make a pocket for it, but it's not dry enough yet, and because it will just get all yucky, so I need to let that finish drying. And in here on a bit of this paper that I printed off, that's still available in my Ko-fi shop. It's free, it's a freebie on my Ko-fi shop. On that paper I've just written the things that happened this holiday, just like a big bit of journaling space. Looking up into the trees there, they're just so tall, these trees. So much to see. Beautiful leaves carpeting the forest floor. That's next door's workies on the noise again. I hope that's not disturbing you. Springy pine needles inches thick, berries glistening in the sun, browning ferns and chirping of birds, fairy glens between the towering pines. There's Hurston sitting in a wee ducat. There was a wee river that ran through. There's another bit of the wee river. The puffin's name is Hurston. He is the name of a place like me and my new best friend. And I forgot to say that was the end of that bit, but never mind. Off on another adventure. So this time it was off to the beach on our final day. We have a tradition on our final day that we go to a beach and eat a Cornish pasty. Cormorants sunning on the rocks all the way there. There is actually cormorants. You can't see them on this photograph, and I hadn't taken my proper camera with me, so this is just a photograph on the phone. And I did walk along the beach to try and get them, but I couldn't get close enough. Oh, should we turn that over? Oh, there's another bit of lichen and a bit of stagnant moss, and there's another that's one of the Fairy Glens. The Fairy Glen, I should have turned those pages before this page. That's what happens sometimes with this journal. Then as we turn this page, this has got an envelope. They say my cousins stay here. I hope to find them. I will miss Hurston. And in this envelope is my beach combing bits. I tend to take very little from beaches unless nowadays I used to just kind of take everything, but now I tend to take only that which I want for immediate use. So that was a bit of scallop shell, a bit of razor clam shell, a bit of sea glass, a bit of sea pottery with a tiny bit of the old green whatever it was on it, which I love it when you get a bit of colour on your sea pottery. A bit of quartz and a bit of adventurine and a bit of nylon rope to show you that actually there tends to be more fishing rope than other things nowadays on the beach. And of course that's never going to decompose. It goes kind of flat and hard, but it's never going to decompose and become rounded like these things. But I just think sometimes just put that in as well. It's part of your finds, Kirstin. This is another wee pocket with a bit of bramble ink painting. That was done with the bramble ink, and then I just used my Zig pens to give it a bit more features. Let's just put that in that wee pocket there. Now this wee pocket is only that deep because it has a little pocket in the bottom, a little secret pocket in the bottom, hidden behind that apple, which was one of the cutouts from Ephemera. Clear Argyle Sea, bright autumn sun, quiet pebble beach. I quite like a pebble beach. This is the bramble ink. There's the brambles that we picked, and there's a swatch of the ink that was made. It's a fabulous colour. I mean, these are a kind of really dark purpley red, as you can see. Just it's such a fabulous colour you get from brambles. One of these days I'm going to actually collect a lot of them and make a lot, so I don't just make them and then use the ink and then think, oh, I wish I had more bramble ink. One of these days. This is how clear the sea was. And the sun's starting to set. We were there right quite late. We stayed and just... This is made with the washi tape strips. You can see the setting of the sun. Some teasels in the sun. The water is salty, but so many cosy spots. On the last night they headed for the picnic on the beach and found cousins to keep me company. Hurrah! And there we go. In between the snails at the shore, water's edge, I found some whelks, so that keeps Hurston happy. Melfit happy once Hurston's gone home. This page is attached together. Another hidden paper clip. Those mushrooms were on one of the pages. The menu on the way home. Melfit was sad to see them leave, but she knew they would be back. Bye, Hurston, and there she is, stuffed in her leaves. And if you remember, I made 2 of these foam stamps. That one I used for when it was just the snail, just the shell, because it's a bigger shell. It was the other one I used the rest of the time, and the other one I'm maybe more likely to use, so I thought I'll just pop that one in there. I know it's there if ever I think, oh, I want a bigger snail. I know I can go and get it there. And this is back home, Hurston looking out the window, remembering his holiday and his new friend Melfit. And then of course we had to put a Susie the Squirrel stamp on there. And these are some leaves I've pressed from Temple Wood. And look at the size of that oak leaf, and then right down to quite little ones. And that's the one that had the acorn on as well. And there's also a little vine leaf in there that my husband found, but we'll just leave it in there just now. And then on the back page I just put this bird, a bit of tweed, this fabric that was for the spine, and this fabric that I coloured just with sprays. It's very, very loose, very fine fabric, not quite cheesecloth, but almost that kind of, it tears like nobody's business and then frays and all falls out of place if you try and tear it. But I've used it quite a bit as in clusters and things in here just because the colours are sprayed. So that's Oops, that's the end of the journal. And we will shut it back up again. I need to let that dry. I need to get those two which are downstairs, photographs which are downstairs, and put them in their place. But that is my journal for October 2024. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found something of enjoyment in the videos, not just my video but the other collaborators' videos. And if you've made your own journal, I'd love to see it. The leaves will be going away, the mushroom lights will be going away, the hot chocolate, that'll be staying, although you're not going to see it in videos again. Until next time, you take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Keep crafting.